Alright, so today we're going to be playing on Floor 2 of Ratatoskr. If you have not seen the Floor 1 guide, I do recommend you watch that just so you can get the basic sort of mechanics of the fight, you know, in your head. That way you know what you need to be kind of doing as like a general rule. Obviously, Floor 2 is going to have some mechanics that the previous floor did not have, so we're going to have to play around with a little bit here. In that video, I do go over the team and why you're using these specific characters and everything, so it might be a little helpful to just already have that knowledge. But I would assume if you're watching a Floor 2 guide, you're either, you know, you already know how to beat Floor 1 or whatever the case, so I'm under the assumption that you already know the basic mechanics at this point. If you don't, go watch Floor 1. If not, let's get started. If you're new to the channel, by the way, and you want to subscribe, that'd be super cool because we're on the road to 20K, and we're getting kind of close. We hit 17K as of the day of me recording this, so we're slowly making our way. I know that's a 3K gap, but hey, you can help me close the distance there. So either way, Floor 2 of Ratatoskr has a pretty consistent gimmick through all three of the phases, and that gimmick is going to be the fact that he is going to be he's going to have an immortality buff on himself, so he can't die unless you kill the left and the right pillar on each phase. So be aware that the idea here is you're going to be trying to do as much damage to him as to the left and right pillar as possible, so that way you can get them out of the way, and then you can kill him off afterwards. So I think what we're going to do here, I have been using all of my AoEs in the beginning just to get some early damage out on the pillars. I think instead what I'm going to do is try to get him. We're gonna hold on to our AoE skill here, and I'm going to try to bring him back to the center. Use the AoE skill to hopefully take out both the left and the right pillar in one attack, if possible. I'm not sure if that's actually going to work just yet or not, but we'll see how that kind of goes. So one gimmick that you do have to worry about on this phase is that he is going to apply food poisoning buffs very consistently. The AoE typically puts one food poisoning on the entire team, one debuff, and then the single target tends to put two debuffs on, but I think that might only be on the level 2 version of that skill. So be aware that if you end up getting 5 of the red buffs or debuffs on yourself, that's going to remove them and replace it with one gray one that cannot be purged. So if you can cleanse every other turn, like you can cleanse on turn 1 and you can cleanse on turn 3, but the idea is you need to have at least one red debuff when he's going to use his red attack skill right here, this lightning speed. If you do not have a red debuff on when he uses that, he basically just instantly puts on 4 or 5 of the gray food poisoning debuffs, and that's going to be too much to handle for the entirety of the fight, so you're basically screwed at that point. So at this point, let's try to put him back into the middle state here. I'm going to merge these so that way I have a good AoE, and then I guess I kind of want to get rid of one of these debuff cards out of my hand, actually. So let's go ahead and use the bleed on him. We'll override it with the poison. I think I'm going to hit him with the single target since I already have all creation on. And then we are going to merge these just to clear up some hand space, because obviously with this fight, it's kind of a balancing act on making sure that you have melee cards to deal damage, but you have the room to have the other cards in hand for like utility purposes. So decent little bit of damage there. His damage cap does change on this floor. In Floor 1 it's 40%. On this floor it actually goes down to 33%, so you're not going to be able to do you're going to be doing a little bit less damage if you're hitting damage cap. So there's the lightning speed skill. We did have red debuffs on, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. His ultimate does hit pretty hard. Do note that if he starts to really like gang up on the Merlin, like if he's like consistently attacking the Merlin, you might be in for a really bad time, because Merlin is definitely the weakest link on this team. So at this point, let's heal up, give our attack-related stats here. I only have a 2/6 Liz, so it's not like a crazy attack-related stat buff. And then I think what I'm going to do is just throw out both of these melee AoEs, and maybe even the heal card with Liz, since we have, you know, just the gold card already in hand from like good RNG there. So really good damage. We do kill both of the pillars on the left and right, so now all we have to do is worry about killing Ratatoskr himself to move phase. That does not do that crazy of damage, but it is what it is. We still have 3 red debuffs on, so if he does end up attacking our Liz too many times, we could potentially end up getting a gray debuff on ourselves. It looks like we might be okay. Actually, though, there's 5, so we get 1 gray debuff. It's not the end of the world if you get like 1 or 2. It is going to be, you know, consistent damage that he's going to like put on your character, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's just something that you're going to have to live with. So, at this point, we have attack-related stats. I have my Merlin ult in hand. I really want to try and kill with the Merlin if possible. I might even cleanse, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Like, I could use the melee ult here, and it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it might be nice to go into the next phase with that. Hopefully, I can kill here with the Merlin. I might end up stalling for an extra turn here. Actually, if he was using the... I don't think we're killing here. I might have to just go ahead and reset this because I'm not sure if he was using his red debuff or his red attack card or not. And because I'm cleansing off my red debuffs, I might end up dying here. Let me reset really quickly and we'll be right back. Okay, so speaking of the reset, if you don't know what I did there, you can basically Alt F4 out of the game or close the app on your phone as long as it's still on your turn. And then when you reopen it, it'll say a battle has ended unexpectedly. And you can basically re-go back into the fight back on the beginning of your turn before you use your card. So I guess it would technically be an exploit, but I think they know that people do this at this point, so it's really not that big of a deal. I guess we're just going to go ahead and use these. I'm still going to cleanse, and then I'm just going to get rid of the shock debuff. The reason why I'm getting rid of the shock debuff here is because going into this next phase, he basically moves around randomly, and you're not going to actually have to worry about using your dot skills to move him to specific pillars. He picks which pillars he wants to go to, just basically at random. So, still the same gimmick. Going into phase 2, you still need to kill the left and rightmost pillars here. That's why I kind of wanted to keep the AoE ultimate in my hand if possible, but, you know, it is what it is. We can't really do anything about that. So, let's go ahead and ult, so that way we heal up a little bit. I guess I'm going to go ahead and use the Liz skill as well to try to get her back towards her ultimate. We can get rid of the defense-related stats maybe, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this single target out, I think, so that way we can merge some skills here for more hand space. So with this one, it's still pretty simple for the most part. You just need to make sure that you try to kill the pillars off, so that way he can't move to the specific pillar. So if he's going to move to one of the left or the right one here, I'm just going to have to basically pick the other one that he doesn't need to go to. While he's not on the field, he does gain immortality on the pillars, so do note that you're not going to be able to just kill them all willy-nilly. I think he basically just already knows which pillar he's going to. Not 100% sure on that, but let's go ahead and use this ult and use the Liz ult as well, so that way we can start cycling some damage. I guess we'll go ahead and use the AoE with King as well. Just for the extra damage on the right and left pillars here. Obviously we can't kill them just yet, but whenever we figure out which pillar he's going to be on, we can try to take out the other pillars that we need to. So, pretty good damage on him. After he hits the field here, he's on the left. They are going to remove their immortality here. Actually, the Abyss ends up killing the one on the right, so at this point, because we don't need to kill the one on the middle, because he won't be able to move to it if we do, we basically just need to focus using single target skill. So I think what I'm going to do here, Shock doesn't do a whole lot of damage anyway. I'm going to use that to put a stack on him, use this to gain an orb with melee, and then we're just going to hit him twice with the poison skills because there's single targets here. The middle pillar doesn't take too much damage, but obviously you don't want to go too overboard and accidentally kill it because then he can't move there. So we're just going to do as much damage as we can to him. Hopefully he will move back to the middle pillar. Sometimes he can be a little bit stubborn. He'll move to the same pillar or, you know, whatever the case may be. But if we can get him back in the middle, that will be ideal. Like I said, he moves at random, so even though we had the poison, you know, on him, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's moving straight to the middle like in previous phases. So obviously, because he only has one other option to go to, if he's going to move pillars, he only had the option to go to the middle there. So we have really good ults and stuff in hand at this point. I think I'm going to save the ults if possible for this next phase. He does not put debuffs on everybody, unfortunately, which might be a little bit of a problem. I think I can use the melee ultimate here and be fine, but I do kind of have to worry about killing them in the next phase. Maybe we just use everybody else's skills here, and then maybe the melee AoE. I think that'll be okay. Maybe. Well, I'm hoping that kills. That should be more than enough to kill, I think. then we can use this. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and use the Liz ultimate as well, just because this is gonna kill the pillar on the left, and then we do some decent damage to him. He's gonna lose the immortality buff here. I'm gonna gain the attack related stats and heal myself up going into the last phase here. And then the single target for melee, even though we don't have all creation, should be enough. Oh, I think it was barely not enough. Okay, that's a bit unfortunate. We're going to have to stall for one turn. Obviously, there's no other place for him to go here. So this is kind of an ideal scenario for you to just get rid of cards out of your hand. You do... like, he will be moved due to the dot skills at this point on the last phase, so we do need to make sure that we're not, like, completely getting rid of our... skills here. So I'm going to go for King's Ultimate just to make sure that I have an AoE that'll deal bleed. We have a shock in hand already. We have an extra poison in hand, so I'm just going to get rid of one of the poisons. Just try to not do too much damage to the pillar here. So it does gain the poison effect, but it's not that big of a deal. He's really low. I guess we're just going to have to throw this this melee AoE out to kill him here. I guess I'm gonna just go for card space as well, because I don't have Liz's ultimate, which is kind of bad, and I would really like to get that into my hand if possible. So trying to draw Liz cards was kind of my priority at the moment. So phase 2 down, nothing too crazy. Phase 3 is where it's gonna get a little bit hectic. I'm really glad that we're full health here because we're gonna need to be. My biggest issue is that I still don't have Liz cards. And that is going to be a big issue because this first turn, his 3 attacks that he's going to do here are going to do a lot of damage. And I do mean a lot of damage. Like, it's actually kind of ridiculous how much damage he's going to deal here. So I'm going to do something like this to just get as much damage out on him as possible. But it's not going to matter too much. I still need to kill the pillars off on the sides if I can here. So this is going to get all creation on myself. Pretty good damage to the sides. I did not kill them, unfortunately, but I'm going to get a little bit of damage out on him. He has, I think, just a ton of HP related here. So he moves to the right because we put bleed on him. The Abyss actually did kill the one on the left, so that's somewhat nice. I can use the poison to get him back to the middle, but here's going to be a ton of damage. Merlin is going to be really close to dying. If not, she might actually die here, depending on the skills he's using. This is another AoE. Okay, so Merlin dies. This is the bad ending. This is where we're kind of screwed. We're not necessarily screwed, because you don't necessarily have to have him in one spot, you know. But definitely not ideal. So I'm going to move this. We still don't have the Liz card, so I can't heal. So this is probably going to be a dead run, but just know, like, we're just going to get him back to the middle. We're going to try to kill the pillar on the right so that way he can't move. And then the big thing that you have to worry about with this phase specifically is that if you get him below 30% HP, he's going to full heal and give himself a stat boost. I'm not 100% sure what the stat boost is. I think somebody in my chat yesterday when we were playing around said that it was a 5%, which doesn't sound that crazy, but you basically just need to consistently keep Liz heals up or else you're going to be dead, which I'm assuming... Okay, I do pull a Liz card, but it's kind of too little too late at this point. I guess I'll just go with an AoE because we can, but... we're gonna have to reset this one anyway, so give me just a second. I'm gonna reset. We're gonna try to get back here. I had a really good run before this one where I was testing to find the gimmicks and stuff like that to write them down for you guys, but I did not record that like a dummy, and now I've got to deal with the consequences. So give me 1 second. Alright, so I'm moving back into phase 3 here. I have been able to recycle ultimates very consistently so far, so that is great. That is basically what I'm looking for. At this point, I think I'm just going to go ahead and throw these out. I do not have an extra Liz card, so I'm going to hold on to that ultimate for the moment. I have an extra bleed and an extra shock, so I'm going to throw this shock out and then probably go ahead and throw this melee card as well, because I have the extra bleed where I can put it on if I need to move him to the right. If I don't kill the pillars here, which I don't think I'm going to, but I should be okay. And then I had an extra shot card in hand. So this might kill the pillar on the right. Okay, it does kill the pillar on the right, so he's moving left here. Not a big deal. I can basically just use this turn to get some damage out on Ratatoskr before he moves to the middle again. I still did not pull an extra Liz card, unfortunately, so I'm not going to be able to recycle as efficiently as I was hoping. So the run could end up going kind of bad here. You can see that Merlin barely survives that. Luckily, the Liz ult is enough to... it should full heal regardless. I only have a melee AoE in hand, so I'm going to try to get rid of any of these useless cards out of my hand. So that'll be fine. I guess I didn't actually need to worry about if I had the different dot skills in my hand necessarily. I just needed to make sure that I had a poison to get him back to the middle so I can kill the one on the left here. So, this is the defense-related stat lower, so it's not going to do anything to him. We're just getting it out of our hand. I really need to pull... oh, I think he lowered our ultimate move gauge as well. Okay, we pulled 2 Liz cards here. This is huge. So he stuns the king. Nothing too crazy. I think we'll be fine in this scenario. He puts debuffs on, so our melee should recycle passive here and rank up, which is good. Problem being, king is still in a pretty low spot here. So let's go ahead and use both of these cards so we can get the ultimate back if possible. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out to have 3 stacks on with the passive and then use the AoE to get some damage out here. So, like I said, the problem is, hopefully this doesn't do too much. I think this actually might be a little too much damage here because he has a 33% damage count. The thing is, if I get him below 30% here, which I think I'm going to, he full heals. So I'm going to reset really quickly. And we're going to try to do a card combination where I can keep him just above 30%, which he also has the Abyss on. All right, we're back. We're going to use the level 2 this time. So we're going to go bam, 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 and then we're going to merge. Hopefully, I mean, we do have all creation, and he does have 3 stacks. Or, well, he's going to have 3 stacks whenever we start to use our attack. So I'm hoping this doesn't do too much. Okay, that's actually pretty good. The thing is, we're going to have to figure out now a card combination that can get him to 30% or under 33%, but not past 30%, and then we're going to have to kill him that way. Our king is getting really close to dying here. Luckily, I have the Liz passive, or the Liz ultimate. I don't know how much the Merlin card is going to do. I might have to do a little bit of testing here to see if I can pull off the Merlin card, because I should hopefully be able to hit damage cap with the melee card and kill as long as I can get within that little 3% range. So I don't think that by itself is going to be enough, but we're going to try it just in case. I'm going to do the testing really quickly so you guys don't have to sit through this, but this is where the fights get really annoying. I have beaten it where he did revive, but I beat it with King and Merlin both dead. So you're basically going to have to consistently recycle the Liz passive if you want to do it like that, which I do have a Liz card. I might potentially be able to pull that off, but it's going to be even more luck. It might just be worth it to just do the resets, do a couple of test runs, see how it goes, and then, you know, beat it like that. So luckily I do have the heal here, so I can maybe go into the next floor with full health. But like I said, I don't know how much I'm going to actually want to try the next floor just yet. So obviously this is not going to be within damage cap, so we are going to reset. Okay, so I think this is basically my best combination. If this one doesn't work, we're just going to push forward, let him heal, and see how it goes. Yeah, I don't think I have any other cards other than melee that can do any sort of consistent damage. I think ideally it might have been better for me to use the level 2 there, save the level 3 for when I'm actually going to be working on his health bar again, but we let's just get rid of any of these cards in hand that we are not going to be dealing damage with, push towards their ultimates and everything. It's going to be a bit of a gamble here. He luckily doesn't get to use any cards because he's off the field this turn, but we're going to see if we can pull this off. I need to pull hopefully 1 Liz card per turn so I can keep recycling her ultimate, because I think he's going to do some pretty good damage to us. on each of his turns at this point. Okay, thank God we got the card there. Let's go for the melee ult. I think that'll actually add all creation before the ult goes off, and we'll have the all stats and everything. Let's go ahead and use the ult with King, the Liz ult, and then the buff cards. That way we recycle her ultimate. So decent chunk of damage there. Obviously mine being 1/6 is not super great, not ideal. But hey, it can be done with a lower ult level. Actually, I don't think he had all creation whenever it went off there, so could have maybe hit damage cap. Luckily, I have some extra cards with melee in hand here. Hopefully, this isn't going to be too much damage. He does cancel my buffs that I had on Liz there. Luckily, he hit her with Tarmiel Link on. So, putting on food poisoning buffs. Luckily, I also have the extra Liz card again. So let's go for Liz ult, Liz heal, so we recycle that ultimate. Actually, I guess we just go ahead and use the Merlin ultimate as well, which I still have attack related on her, so we can use it first without having to worry about it. And then we can do something like this. I'm not a huge fan of this because obviously if I go one round without pulling the extra Liz card, I'm not going to be able to get my ultimate again, and we might not be able to finish with full health. But I mean, hey, if you can finish in general, that'll definitely, you know, be a win, and you'll get the rewards from it. So it's not the end of the world, but it might not be the best. Who knows? He has one stack. I could gain one more orb if I attack with melee here. I don't think it's going to be the biggest deal in the world, though. So let's just go ahead and get rid of these cards out of hand, just in case we need to try to pull an extra melee card. And then let's go ahead. I guess I'll use the AoE, so that way we can use the ultimate first, and then the single target to do as much damage as possible. Luckily, he's not using an attack card this turn. I think we're fine. I think we're in the clear at this point, but you can see how much of a pain it is to like work around the sort of, you know, the full heal stat boost, like below 30% part of the passive. Like, that is a really big pain. Luckily, we can't kill the totem while he's not on the field, so that does help a little bit. He does heal back a little bit here as well, so that isn't necessarily the biggest problem. But let's go ahead and full heal here, and then just go ahead and throw all of these attack cards out, and that should be enough to kill. So, sorry this one was a little bit more chopped up and everything. Obviously, I'm kind of trying to show some of the problems and stuff that you're going to be facing and everything, so that way you can kind of hopefully plan for them. But obviously, you know, with RNG, it's kind of hard to plan sometimes. So that is honestly not a bad run at all. Hey, we got some really good fruits as well. We're at full health. This is pretty ideal, because as long as we're at full health, we could potentially go into floor 3 and try our best, but I don't know how much I'm actually going to be willing to do that. I mean, I might as well give it a try this week, but I don't think it's actually going to go too well. But either way, that is floor 2. If you have any comments or questions or anything that could help anybody else out, or if you want to ask me something and I can try to help you out, feel free to comment down below. Maybe we can have some discussions, people that come to this maybe in the future after the comments are, you know, sort of helpful. It'll, you know, give them a better chance of fighting this thing. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, any advice, anything, put it down, help some people out. Hopefully you guys have a good day. I don't know. This guy's tough. It's gonna hopefully get easier. You know, we'll see how it goes. Have a good day. Subscribe, all that great stuff. Goodbye.